At the far edge of the world, where the ocean breathes clouds into the sky and the land is carved from ice, lived a colony of penguins. The ice was beautiful, but it was not kind. Here, the wind did not whisper, it howled. The cold did not bite, it tested. Among thousands of penguins who huddled together on the frozen land lived a young penguin named Kiko. Kiko was smaller than most, quieter than many, and different in one important way. He believed he did not need anyone. While other penguins stood shoulder to shoulder to stay warm, Kiko often stepped away. While elders taught the young how to move, swim, and survive together, Kiko listened but never truly believed. I can manage on my own, he often thought. Depending on others only makes you weak. The ice, however, has a way of teaching lessons slowly and then all at once. Every morning, the colony moved like a living river. Penguins shifted positions so no one froze for too long. The strongest stood at the edges, blocking the wind. The weakest were protected at the center. It was not accidental, it was cooperation perfected over generations. Elder penguins taught the young how to conserve energy, how to read the wind, how to move as one. Kiko watched all of this quietly. He admired it but did not trust it. Why must I depend on others to stay warm? He wondered. I have my own feathers, my own strength. So whenever the colony tightened into a huddle, Kiko stood just outside it. Cold crept into his feathers, but pride kept him still. No one forced him in. The colony believed learning came from experience. One day, the elders announced it was time for the young penguins to swim farther into the ocean. The sea was dangerous, but it was where food lived. Penguins did not hunt alone. They swam in groups, watching for predators, sharing signals. Kiko entered the water but swam slightly apart. This way, I won't have to match anyone else's speed, he thought. The water was colder than he expected, the waves stronger. Still, Kiko caught fish. He felt proud. I was right, he told himself. I don't need anyone. But far beneath the surface, something ancient watched. The storm arrived without warning. The sky darkened. Snow whipped sideways. The wind screamed across the ice. The colony tightened instantly. Hundreds of penguins pressing together, sharing warmth, sharing breath. Kiko was far from the center. As the wind slammed into him, panic fluttered in his chest. He tried to walk toward the others, but the ice beneath his feet cracked suddenly. With a sharp cry, Kiko slipped and slid down a frozen slope far away from the colony's shelter. The storm swallowed the sound of his call. Within minutes, the colony was gone from sight. Only white, only wind, only cold. For the first time in his life, Kiko was truly alone. The storm passed hours later. Kiko stood shivering on unfamiliar ice. No voices, no movement, no warmth. The silence was terrifying. Kiko tried to walk, but exhaustion slowed him. His feathers were wet, his body shook uncontrollably. He remembered the huddle, the shared warmth, the safety, and for the first time regret crept in. I should have stayed closer, he whispered, but the ice did not answer. Night fell quickly. Without the colony, the cold felt sharper. Kiko tucked his head into his feathers, trying to copy the posture he had seen others use inside the huddle. But without bodies around him, it barely helped. The wind returned. Snow buried his feet. Kiku's thoughts slowed, and then he saw shapes moving in the distance. A leopard seal surfaced briefly in the dark water nearby, its eyes reflecting moonlight. Fear jolted Kiku awake. He backed away from the ice edge and pressed himself against a small ice ridge, staying still, breathing quietly. Hours passed. Kiku survived the night but barely. Morning brought pale light and weak warmth. As Kiku struggled to stand, he heard a sound. Soft footsteps, slow breathing. An old emperor penguin emerged from behind an ice formation. His feathers were worn, his movements slow, but his eyes were calm. "You are far from your colony," the old penguin said gently. Kiku lowered his head. "I thought I did not need them," he admitted. The old penguin nodded. "The ice teaches us all," he said. "But it is a harsh teacher when faced alone." The old emperor showed Kiku how to face the wind at an angle, how to rest without losing too much heat. Then he added quietly, "Survival here is not about strength, it is about belonging." They walked together for a short while until the old penguin turned back. "I cannot go farther," he said, "but remember this, no feather is warm alone." Then he was gone. Kiku had not eaten in a long time. Hunger weakened him faster than the cold. He approached the sea again carefully this time. The water was alive with movement but danger too. Kiku spotted fish but also shadows. He waited. Then he noticed something familiar. In the distance, a small group of penguins drove together. When one surfaced, another dove, never all at once. Kiko copied them. He timed his dives, watched the water, stayed alert. He caught fish to survive, not because he was alone, but because he learned from others. Days passed. Kiko followed signs of penguin movement, but the ice was vast. One afternoon, exhaustion caught him off guard. He slipped again, this time near the water. A shadow surged upward. The leopard seal attacked. Kiko barely escaped, scrambling onto ice, heart pounding wildly. He collapsed, shaking. That was when he understood the truth clearly for the first time. If he had been swimming with others, the seal would not have targeted him. Being alone had not made him strong, it had made him visible. That night, as Kiko rested weakly, he heard something carried by the wind. Calls, penguin calls. Hope surged through him. He answered weakly at first, then louder. The calls grew closer. Dark shapes appeared through falling snow. The colony. They had been searching. The moment Kiko reached them, bodies closed around him instantly. Warmth returned, breath returned, life returned. No one scolded him, no one questioned him. They simply made space. Kiko cried silently as the cold finally released him. Weeks later, the storm season passed. Kiko stood inside the huddle, no longer at the edges. He watched younger penguins now, and when one tried to stand alone, Kiko gently nudged them closer to the group. He had learned what the ice teaches everyone eventually. Independence is valuable, but isolation is dangerous. Strength grows when shared. Kiko still had his own thoughts, his own abilities, but now he understood something deeper. Survival was not about proving he could stand alone, it was about knowing when not to. The ice remained cold, the storms returned each year, but the colony endured together. And whenever the wind howled across the frozen land, one truth echoed beneath it. No one survives the cold alone. Kiko never forgot that lesson, and neither should we.